Good morning, everybody. We made it to day 7 of our Habakkuk 30 days with Habakkuk. Today, we are talking about idols versus the living God. And today's scripture is Habakkuk 2:18 through 20. And it says, "Of what value is an idol carved by a craftsman, or an image that teaches lies? For the one who makes for the one who makes it trust in his own creation, he makes idols that cannot speak. Woe to him who says to wood, come to life, or to lifeless stone, wake up. Give it, can it give guidance? It is covered with gold and silver. There is no breath in it. The Lord in his holy temple, let all the earth be silent before him." Habakkuk contrasts the false idols of the nations with the living God who reigns in his holy temple. The Babylonians trusted in their power, wealth, and carved images, but idols are lifeless. They cannot hear, they cannot speak, and they cannot save. The prophet exposes the foolishness of worshiping man-made objects that have no breath or power. In ancient times, people bowed to physical idols, but today, modern idols exist everywhere. Money, status, success, relationships, technology, personal ambitions, anything that we prioritize above God can become an idol. The problem with idols is that they provide an illusion of control and security that ultimately leave us empty. They are unstable, temporary, and powerless to bring real peace and salvation. In contrast, God is alive, powerful, and sovereign. He does not need human hands to shape him, and his presence is real and eternal. He calls us to silence before him, not out of fear, but out of reverence. When we recognize his majesty, we learn to trust him above all else. Instead of seeking fulfillment in what is fleeting, we are invited to build our lives on the unshakable foundation of God's truth. Recognizing idols in our lives requires honest self-examination. What do we rely on for security, identity, or happiness? Are there things we prioritize more than our relationship with God? Ask yourself, what do I turn to for comfort or purpose? Where do I place my trust when life feels uncertain? Reorder your priorities. While work, relationships, and successes are important, they should never take God's place. Seek to keep him first in all things. Cultivate silence and worship. The Lord calls us to be still before him. In a world full of distractions, setting aside time for worship and listening to God can refocus our hearts. Trusting in the living God. Unlike idols that fade, God's presence and promises endure forever. When we put our faith in him, we are building on a firm and lasting foundation. So, are there any idols in your life, things you trust in more than God? How can you shift your focus from temporary things to eternal? What does it mean for you to stand in awe before the Lord in his holy temple? So, as we conclude this first week, it has taken us through the prophet Habakkuk's honest struggle with God. We have seen him question, wait, and listen as he tries to reconcile God's justice with the evil in this world. As you reflect on this week, remember it's okay to wrestle with God. Faith does not mean having all the answers, but choosing to trust God anyway. God's ways are higher than ours. He may answer in unexpected ways, but his plan is always good. Justice will prevail. Evil may seem to prosper, but God's righteousness will stand forever. God alone is worthy of our trust. Idols will only fail us, but the Lord reigns in truth and power. So looking ahead to week 2, we're going to be looking at trusting God's sovereignty. And as we move into week 2, may we shift from wrestling to waiting, trusting and worshiping the one who holds all things in his hands. Instead of questioning why, let us focus on who. God is faithful and just. Key verse to remember for this week is Habakkuk 2:4. The righteous will live by his faithfulness. And our prayer for today, Lord, thank you for meeting us in our doubts and questions. Lord, help us to trust in your justice and to wait patiently for your answers and to worship only you alone. Strengthen our faith as we continue this journey of trusting And as we trust you more fully, may we open our eyes and our hearts to hear you, Lord, and may we engage um, in our study more openly and more honestly um, as we go through this week. If you're watching this, I ask that you pray for my sister and her husband. They lost his father last night. Um, I haven't spoken to her yet. She sent the message and I was sleeping. But if you can pray for them, um, for God to comfort them and give them peace at this time. All right. I hope you guys have a great day and we will see you again tomorrow.